We're here in downtown Seattle this morning, hometown of companies such as Amazon and Microsoft. We're here joined by our special guest, Rahul Mewawalla. He is CEO and president of Mawson Infrastructure Group, a NASDAQ-listed technology company that provides digital infrastructure services. Rahul, we're pleased to have you with us here today.
Thanks for having me, Ethan.
Rahul, before we dive into the details today, would you tell us a little bit about your background and what led you to become the CEO of Mawson Infrastructure Group?
Thanks, Ethan. So I've spent most of my career in Silicon Valley and working with technology companies. I was part of the first wave around the internet with Yahoo, and then was part of the wave with mobile with Nokia. And then I've also worked with companies like General Electric Company and a number of Silicon Valley technology companies. I think what's common amongst all of these companies is that they fundamentally were looking to advance technology. And the foundation for all of this, whether it's the internet or it's mobile or it's cloud compute or it's artificial intelligence today, is around compute, right? You need the underlying foundation of compute capacity to be able to do all of the things that we're thinking about and wanted to moving forward. And what's great about Mawson is we are essentially a technology company that focuses on digital infrastructure. So we provide the underlying foundation for whether you use, ChatGPT, or you think about high performance computing, or you think about digital assets. All of that, at the end of the day, needs physical infrastructure and compute capacity to run all of that, and that's what Mawson does. And so in many ways, Mawson brings together all of my experience across all of these different facets of technology.
Amazing. Rahul, you joined Mawson as CEO last year, and over the last year, you led a transformation towards long-term growth. In your last quarterly earnings, you reported your digital co-location service revenue increased by 77%, while you increased your energy management business revenue by 70%, all while reducing your SG&A expenses by 42%. A meaningful increase in revenue while reducing expenses. Could you provide us an update on the transformation and your ongoing progress?
You're right, Ethan. So we embarked on this journey of transformation about a year and a half ago. And our goal was really threefold. One was to strengthen our revenue and strengthen our revenue mix by diversifying our revenue across a number of different business segments. And clearly, we've been able to make great progress on that. If you think of the company today, we have 4 business segments. We have our recent expansion into artificial intelligence and high-performance computing co-location. We have our digital co-location services business. We have our energy management business, and then we have our digital assets and self-mining business. And all of these businesses have shown a strategic synergy between them. And in some of these businesses, we've shown, as you rightly pointed out, significant growth over the course of this transformation. So we're very pleased with that, and we're looking forward to more progress around our revenue. The second goal that we had as part of our transformation was cost optimization. And, we've really transformed how we run the company over the course of this transformation. We're now much more data-driven. We have a set of metrics that we monitor 24/7. We're continually thinking about what can we do better, how can we improve, and I think we're going to continue to see sort of dividends from that effort on a moving forward basis. The third thing that we've done, which I'm especially proud of, is we've really upgraded the level of talent we have within the company. We sort of took a step back and thought about, fundamentally we are a technology company. And so we've, in many ways, brought in a new team from companies like Apple and T-Mobile and Yahoo and GE and a number of other well-known technology companies to essentially think about how do we place smart bets for the future? How do we think about what strategy will drive accelerated performance moving forward, and what will create sustained shareholder value moving forward? And so while we're still in the midst of this transformation, I think we made great strides, and I'm looking forward to what we do on a moving forward basis.
Thank you for the update. We're seeing a significant increase in M&A activity in the industry, with deals like Bitfarms acquiring Stronghold Digital for $175 million, and reports of CoreWeave offering over $1 billion for Core Scientific. How do you view this increase in M&A activity, and what do you think it means for the industry?
Yeah, Ethan, it's a really insightful question. If you look back, even from as recently as last summer, our industry has seen about a dozen M&A deals. And I think what that speaks to is that the demand for compute is just far outpacing the supply of compute that's available. And, my view is that this is going to continue for the next several years. As you sort of think about what we are forecasting moving forward for whether it's artificial intelligence or high performance computing or digital assets, we see a sustained surge in demand over the next several years. I mean, just stepping back for a moment, if you think about something like ChatGPT was only introduced a little over 2 years ago. And, in the first week, they had over 1 million users. In the first 2 months, they crossed over 100 million users. It was the fastest growing application in history. And I anticipate that broader AI applications over the course of the next 18 to 24 months will exceed 1 billion users.
Wow.
Now, if you think about all of that, you need underlying compute capacity, whether it's for training LLM models or for inference of these models, to essentially fulfill and service these AI applications. So I expect that there will be moving forward a race around how we fulfill the demand for computing resources. And that's likely going to lead companies to not only look at organic growth opportunities, but inorganic growth opportunities as well. So I think it's just the beginning. I think that we're going to see more M&A activity. And I think all of this is essentially a result of just the surge in demand we're seeing for computing resources.
Speaking of industry moves, we're seeing major tech companies make big investments in digital infrastructure. Microsoft's nuclear power deal in Pennsylvania and Amazon's $650 million data center campus. How is this trend of big tech investment reshaping the competitive landscape?
It's really interesting, Ethan. You sort of think about just the tech industry generally, whether you think about companies like Google or Microsoft or Meta, all of these companies are thinking of AI as core to their competitiveness moving forward. I mean, frankly, a lot of these companies, and we speak with them regularly, are thinking that this is core to their survival moving forward. And so if you think about their strategic priority around AI and high performance computing, and you think about how they think about having the compute capacity to participate in the ecosystem, and then you think about what are the essential ingredients to be able to do that. You're talking about power, you're talking about fiber, you're talking about having proximity to tech hubs, all of which, for example, are areas that we certainly focus on when we build out and operate our digital infrastructure facilities. And so I think the reality is that I think the entire digital ecosystem across digital infrastructure, whether it's from GPUs to software to hardware to digital infrastructure in data centers like we operate, I think we're all going through a growth phase. And I think that you'll see continued investment from other companies like ours, to continue to sort of build computing resources, computing capacity, to essentially fulfill what I see as the surge for compute requirement moving forward. So I think it's just the beginning. I think we are living in interesting, exciting times. And I think we'll see a lot more activity from really across the tech spectrum, whether it's companies like Mawson or companies like Google or Amazon or Microsoft. I think all of us are collectively looking to build a base of digital infrastructure that can fulfill the needs of enterprises and consumers moving forward.
Sounds like an exciting future.
It really is, Ethan. I think, I look back and I think about what we accomplished during the days of the internet, and then I think about what we accomplished during the days of mobile and then cloud compute. And I think even though those were incredibly interesting, exciting times that have transformed how we live and work, it is just the beginning. I think moving forward, when we think about high performance computing and artificial intelligence and digital assets, it's going to be incredibly exciting.
How do you view the power situation of all these companies needing more and more power and not having enough in the current infrastructure?
Yeah, that's a really good question, because if you sort of think about how the industry works, you are effectively putting in power, which is electrons, and then using compute and GPUs, you're converting electrons into what are called tokens, which essentially are how AI operates. And you think about where we are today. You think of ChatGPT as an example. It essentially is a prompt, right, where you sort of put in something and then you've got to sort of interact with it. I anticipate that in the next 18 to 24 months, we're going to go from a prompt to what we call AI agents that effectively do these tasks on an end-to-end basis. And then you fast forward another 2-3 years, these AI agents are essentially going to become, digital humans, if you will, that can essentially take a task or a function and run with it. Now, all of this, as you think about all of this progress moving forward, needs compute capacity. And compute capacity effectively needs power to operate the level of compute that we need moving forward. And so there's a real race right now to secure power assets. We're seeing a lot of innovation around power. If you think about nuclear, for example, which I think a lot of us are excited about, all of our energy is 100% carbon zero, and a large part of that is nuclear. If you look at our site in Midland, Pennsylvania, we're right by the Ohio River, and right across the river is the Beaver Valley nuclear plant, right? And so we know the space really well. And there's a lot of innovation happening in things like nuclear engineering, for example. Companies are looking at small nuclear reactors. Carnegie Mellon University, which is in Pittsburgh, which is close to our facilities, is doing a lot of work around nuclear engineering. And so I think we will not only see innovation in how we build GPUs and how we run digital infrastructure. I think we're going to see innovation in how we think about power generation and power transmission. And I think all of this has to then come together to fulfill what we see as the advancements moving forward over the next several years.
I'm really excited to see what the future holds.
Thanks so much, Ethan.